Tensions flare in Parliament as MPs clash over Sunak's handling of public spending. It was one of the most heated sessions in Parliament this year, voices raised, MPs shouting over one another, and Speaker Lindsay Hoyle forced to intervene multiple times. The issue: allegations of mismanagement surrounding the government's recent public spending decisions. At the center of it all was Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, fielding tough questions from a vocal opposition and a deeply engaged chamber. In today's breakdown, we unpack what led to the uproar, what was actually said. During Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday, Labour's front bench launched a series of pointed inquiries into recent reports about how government contracts were awarded in sectors such as healthcare, infrastructure, and digital services. Angela Rayner, Labour's deputy leader, accused the government of bypassing proper oversight in the allocation of millions in public funds. Citing evidence from recent committee findings, she questioned the transparency of procurement processes and demanded answers. Rayner said, "Can the Prime Minister explain why contracts worth billions have been awarded without open competition, and why the public is being kept in the dark about where their money is going?" Prime Minister Rishi Sunak responded with a firm defense, insisting that all procurement decisions followed legal protocols, particularly those made under emergency conditions such as during the pandemic. The decisions made by this government were taken swiftly to save lives and keep services running, Sunak stated. "We acted in the national interest, and all expenditures are subject to audit and review." However, his response did little to cool tensions. Opposition MPs shouted over his answers, leading Speaker Hoyle to call for order more than once. The chamber's noise level rose as MPs from different parties interjected with demands, accusations, and calls for transparency. What made this session particularly noteworthy was that criticism didn't only come from Labour. Several MPs from other parties, including the Liberal Democrats and the SNP, raised similar concerns. SNP MP Alison Thullis described the session as chaotic but necessary, adding, "If Parliament cannot demand accountability for how public funds are spent, what are we even here for?" Liberal Democrat MP Daisy Cooper also added pressure, stating that the government must commit to releasing the full documentation behind high-value contracts, especially those awarded without public tenders. It's rare to see such a united front in the Commons, and it shows how the issue of financial transparency is resonating beyond party lines. The heated debate comes amid a growing public desire for clarity on government expenditures. With inflation still affecting everyday prices and public services under pressure, questions around where and how taxpayer money is spent are gaining traction. Transparency advocates have called for more rigorous reporting standards, especially when emergency spending is invoked. While it's acknowledged that extraordinary circumstances require flexibility, critics argue that flexibility should not mean opacity. Many are pointing to this moment in Parliament as a sign that these discussions are reaching a tipping point, with political leaders being forced to confront questions that were previously brushed aside. For the public, these debates can often feel remote. But what happens in Parliament impacts every taxpayer. Whether it's funding for local hospitals, transportation networks, or education initiatives, how public funds are managed shapes real-world outcomes. This week's uproar in the Commons is a reflection of that deeper concern that the system meant to guard public interest may not be functioning as transparently as it should. Polls taken after the session showed that a growing number of voters are paying attention. Trust in government efficiency and honesty continues to be a central issue as the next general election looms on the horizon. Following the explosive Commons session, several MPs have indicated plans to file formal requests for documentation related to the contracts in question. Committees may be called upon to investigate, and pressure is mounting for the government to issue a public statement clarifying its processes. The Prime Minister's office has not yet indicated whether it will release further details, but with pressure building across party lines, some form of response seems inevitable. What's clear is that transparency will remain a major theme in the political months ahead, not just in Parliament, but in the minds of voters, watchdog groups, and local communities. So where do you stand? Should the government be more forthcoming with how public contracts are awarded? Do you believe the Prime Minister gave enough of an explanation, or are MPs right to keep pushing? We want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you value fact-based, balanced political reporting that puts people before partisanship, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. Thanks for watching, and remember, democracy thrives when citizens stay informed.